son. Where'd you find this?
Just do it! Make your dreams come true!
A few moments later.
You are now listening to Podcast 42, the world's most popular, inaccurate, and sometimes squirreled retelling of pop culture history.
We had a good beer last night. It was a dragon's milk beer.
Where do you get dragon's milk out of? Dragon boobs?
Dragon boobs! Dragon boobs!
I don't know. I think you got it from Publix.
Dragon boobs is what my grandma had.
All scaly and...
No.
You missed the joke!
No.
I must have.
Dragon boobs.
Oh,
Dragon.
got
Never
it.
mind. On that note, it's time for Podcast 42. I'm Christopher DeVos.
I'm James Duncan.
I'm Nicole Fasone.
And I'm J.L. Tros.
And we're back to full force, finally!
Yay!
Dum, da, dum, 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 dum.
Where has everybody been?
I've been here.
I ran so far away. Hang on. One of you was kidnapped. One of you was in a lair with a dragon. And what else? Someone was on the Eiffel Tower? I gave excuses.
I hope I was the one with the dragon.
No.
I was the dragon.
You were with a dragon.
Oh, so I was in the Eiffel Tower?
No, I don't know. I can't remember, but you were all somewhere else.
I don't remember any of it.
That's because,
I wasn't here for the excuses.
No. I was
they
here
weren't
by
excuses,
myself.
They actually happened.
If you listen to Podcast 42, James' solo hour, have fun.
Oh, I can't wait.
It's James going,
Aluminum.
Aluminium.
Oh, yeah, we were on Blunder Dogs.
Yes.
And, their show is they pick what they want. And we get free publicity, so I'm not complaining too much. But we did lose immensely. However, in Twitter, we won.
Yay!
And they do a little Twitter poll at the end saying, did we get this right? And I kind of asked everyone to vote for us anyway, so I kind of stacked it. But
So all of you listeners or Facebook followers on our group page, thank you for voting for us on Twitter.
Yes.
We appreciate your help.
So we were the winner of the losers.
Yes, appreciate.
We were the winner of the losers.
We are winners. We're not losers. We're winning losers.
Speaking of winning losers, let's open up that beer cooler.
JL's beer cooler. It's cooler than you think. JL's beer cooler. It's cool enough to drink. It's cool enough to drink. Yeah.
All right, JL, you're back at the helm. What did you bring?
I am. I brought Woodcock IPA.
No, what did you bring in the beer?
Oh, I brought both Woodcocks.
So the name of the beer is what?
Woodcock. From the Woodcock Brothers Brewing Company out of, I believe it's Wilson, New York.
Yep.
You know, this label is very simple, but I'm going to give it a good 4. I like it.
Although the can has this weird crunch to it.
Yeah, because it's like, do you ever put like those like things on the Easter eggs and everything like that? Like, not like dye the eggs.
Oh, like the little wrappers?
Yeah, the wrappers.
There's an extra wrapper on it?
That's what they did to this. Instead of printing on the can, they put a wrapper on
Yeah,
it.
like you steam the wrapper on.
I thought it had
Yeah.
like a widget in it, like Guinness. You know, like Guinness cans have the thing at the bottom.
The ping pong ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, this one is going to cost twice as much when the new tariffs go into effect? What? Just kidding. Okay, it says, maybe it's just us, but there's something special about this IPA. Something that feels like us, where a classic standard meets a new twist. Sort of like the way we do things around the brewery. A little familiar, a little unexpected, but so wrongly right. After all, everyone knows once you taste a Woodcock, you're never going back.
Is that right, Nicole?
That's right.
That's
Hi,
what
Nicole's
she
mom.
said.
Hi, Nicole's mom.
All right, well, you'll get our rating at the end. I'm so happy we're doing another IPA.
Yay, 2 in a row.
Highly recommended.
Yay.
Oh, you did an IPA last time? I wasn't here.
Yeah.
I was kidnapped.
Well,
After slapping your lips around, Chris, what are we talking about
I
this
just
week?
took a sip. We'll see how it goes over the course of an hour. This week, it's JL's pick. And JL, what did you pick?
I chose to talk about Todd McFarlane.
Who's that?
He is a comic creator, and he does like a bunch of other things.
Hold on one second. Why are you slapping me with the microphone cord?
Me too. I was putting my beer down, and like the microphone cord is right there.
I think she did it because she thought we were talking about Seth MacFarlane, not
No,
Todd
that's
McFarlane.
not what it was.
Are they brothers?
Yes, Nicole, they're brothers.
This is new news to me. I've never heard this before.
Neither has Seth or Todd.
They're long lost brothers.
Yes, they
Yes,
don't.
one's Canadian, the other is not.
Whoa, this is going to be some drama that we're going to read about.
Just to let Radioland know that Nicole is suffering with concussion because prior to recording the show, she decided to headbutt the wall, which maybe tickled us all in the funny bones. But
How she didn't know the wall was there, none of us will know.
I did know, but see what happens is when you guys make me laugh so hard, my head gets thrown back, and there just happens to be a ledge here for me to just hit my head again.
what kind of ledge is it, Nicole?
A brown one.
It's a wood ledge. But okay, I was going to carry on the theme of the beer, but concussions work. But now the NFL doctor coming in and check you after the show.
Sounds good to me.
Where's Gary?
Well, if you start feeling lightheaded, let us know, because then we'll just continue on with the show.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Just joking. We'll call an ambulance.
After we finish the show.
After you finish.
All right, so tell us about Todd McFarlane.
Todd McFarlane was born on March 16th, 1961, in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Todd is a well-known comic creator and entrepreneur. He's probably mostly well-known for his work on SpiderMan and as the creator of one of my favorite series in the 90s, Spawn. His parents are Bob and Shirley McFarlane. He also has two brothers, Curtis and Derek.
Wait a minute. So Seth MacFarlane is not his brother.
No!
You guys lied to me.
Yes, we told you he lied to you.
We lied to you.
See, kids, concussions are real.
What's funny is she was getting into the script until we just did the big drop. We should have saved this for later. Because now Nicole's going to check out.
Yep. It's fine.
Don't worry,
You know
we got
what?
Seinfeld coming up in a couple weeks.
Oh, it's about Kramer, right? Not Seinfeld?
It's about all of them.
It's about
Oh,
George.
yeah.
George is the star.
Nobody wants to talk about George.
Everyone wants to talk about
I'd
George.
rather talk about Putty. But back to Todd McFarlane. His father, Bob, worked in the printing business, which led him to take work wherever he could find it, and as a result, during McFarlane's childhood, the family lived in about 30 different places from Alberta to California.
McFarlane began drawing as a hobby at an early age, developing an interest specifically in comics. He would get as many comics as he could and learn to draw by studying them. His influences included comic creators such as John Byrne, Jack Kirby, Frank Miller, George Perez, and Alan Moore. His process for teaching himself would be that he would spend a week learning how to draw a forearm, then the next week he would work on hands until he pieced together a body kind of like a jigsaw puzzle. Once he had the bodies down, then he would work on making them twist and turn, everything exciting that a comic book brought to the page. McFarlane first created the character Spawn when he was 16. He would then spend the next several years perfecting the appearance of the character.
Now, you should be more into the script now because you like jigsaw puzzles.
I do like jigsaw puzzles.
Okay, see? Not only do you got Seth MacFarlane maybe in the background, but we're talking jigsaw puzzles.
My sister is also an artist, so I've got to watch her develop her cartooning over the years. Yeah, it's actually, I'll show you afterwards. It's actually some pretty
Hi,
intricate
Nicole's
stuff.
sister.
Hi, Nicole's sister. Hi, Bree.
While in 12th grade at Calgary's Sir Winston Churchill High School. Boy, that's
a great high school. I want to go to that high school. Sir Winston Churchill from my country has his own high school in Canada.
Yeah, it's either in Canada or America. I don't know, but that's crazy. McFarlane met 13-year-old Wanda. McFarlane was 27. No, I'm just joking.
Was she a fish?
No.
Was she a fairy?
A fairy?
No, mine was a film reference. And you don't
Mine
get...
was a Fairly Odd Parents reference, because the Fairly Odd Parents were fish, and they were also fairies.
Oh, she connected the dots.
See?
Oh.
See? You're
I like
welcome.
James's reference more.
Of course you do, because you don't watch the Fairly Odd Parents like I
And John
did.
Cleese is way better.
Now, I'll give you props on that one. That was pretty good.
Thank you. Thank you, Chris. And not James and not JL.
He was working as a groundskeeper for the Calgary Cardinals. After much flirting, the two began dating over the objections of Wanda's father. I made a joke, but McFarlane was in high school, so he was like 17, I think. Who thought she was too young for him, but in time McFarlane won him over mostly by mowing their family lawn. And Todd mentions that it was a very big lawn. When Todd was 5, he won an art award, which was to have his picture hung up in Anaheim Stadium. The family went to the game, and this would start Todd's love of baseball. One summer, Todd's dad had signed him and his 2 brothers up for baseball to give them something to do over the vacation. Todd was good at the game and fast, and earned the reputation for being able to steal bases. So Dad said, "I want you out of the house.
Go steal some stuff." Soon after high school, McFarlane attended baseball tryouts for Gonzaga University. Is it
Chris just took a sip of that beer, the Woodcock beer, and is like shaking his head like, no.
He went Gonzaga on me.
Oh, so it tastes just like cock of a wood.
I so far like it. I mean, we'll save it for later, but I like it so far.
McFarlane was a good fielder, but not a good hitter. Also, he could not afford Gonzaga. Where the hell Gonzaga? Where is this place?
I believe
I
it's
will
in
look it
Washington.
up.
Is it
While
like,
you
it
were
sounds
reading
like
this.
it's from
I want to say it's up in Washington.
Wakanda, one of
Yes.
those little places, you know. So he attended Spokane Falls Community College for the next year. His relationship with the fish called Wanda developed into a long-distance one. In 1981, McFarlane attended Eastern Washington University on a baseball scholarship. He got around, didn't he? Wow, how many different colleges? And here he begun studying graphics and art. Practical goal was to join his father in the printing business, but his dream was to become a comic book creator. He worked part-time on the campus as a janitor, and his scholarship required an on-campus job. Which is kind of cool.
What?
I'm going to be a janitor. Maybe he solved an equation during his time.
No, that's a whole different.
Oh, okay. So he would hold the record of the fastest 3-store floor cleaning for a few years.
He had the record for cleaning the floors the fastest for a couple years.
They didn't really have many hobbies in Eastern Washington University. They timed their janitors.
Well, no, I think the janitors did it themselves.
They had the
like a
Olympic
fun
Games
contest.
of janitors.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we're gonna go and clean the floors the fastest.
They were all
It's like
all
curling,
students.
but university style.
They were all students. You know, they ended up getting
Wait
like
a
a
minute.
scholarship out of this.
Wait a minute. It's like curling?
Yeah, because like curling is when you're sweeping the floor.
Okay.
So
He's not sweeping with a broom. He's sweeping with that
know,
big
but he's-
round thing that goes...
okay, but do you get what I'm saying? Like
I do
curling
now,
is an Olympic
yes.
sport, so why couldn't sweeping the floor the fastest be a
'Cause he's
university
not
competition?
really sweeping.
Oh my god, you guys are just like I'm
No,
trying
I get
here.
It. I get it.
Thank you.
I get it.
Thank you, Chris, and not James or JL.
I'm getting brownie points.
So McFarlane would also work the weekends at a comic book shop called the Comic Rack. I hope, for God's sake, their logo was a really hot woman with giant boobs, but
It's a new strip
was
club
the
that they're
rack.
opening up
Or
down
a
here.
censor bar.
Yeah, that's like a good thing.
It was probably a bunch of comics sitting on a bookshelf thing.
Yeah, I know, but
Yeah, I know.
one's...
But that's going to be the new strip club that's opening up here.
If
the
you guys-
Comic Rack.
Yeah, but if you ever open it, make sure it's boobs, but a censor bar that says comic rack.
Maybe it's strippers that tell jokes and give out comic books.
I would go to that.
Ooh.
Yeah, you would.
A lot of people would.
It was at the comic rack. It was at the comic rack. He would practice his art. He would draw the classic superheroes like Batman, Superman, and Spider-Man, but his main focus would be on minor unknown characters. In Todd's thinking, these were the characters that he could fix and submit to publishers to showcase his talents. He knew he wasn't going to replace the all-star cast, so he wanted to stand out, proving what he could do with lesser characters. He turned the page and...
Lots of turning.
Yeah, because it's on double-sided. He would do this for the next 2.5 years, sending out over 700 samples and getting back close to 300 rejections. So 300 people replied out of 700.
Yes. Well, it could have been the same person who rejected.
Yeah, but
300
you know they
times.
liked 400 of them, but not the other 300. So he was considering playing professional baseball after graduation until he suffered a serious ankle injury in his junior year during a game with the arch rivals Washington State University. Instead, he focused on drawing, working at the comic book store to pay for the rest of his education, and living in a trailer park in Cheney, Washington with Wanda. Wanda had moved to the area to be with him and attend EWU as well. In 1984, a year after his injury, McFarlane's final chance to play for the big leagues came when he tried out with the Toronto Blue Jays farm team in Medicine Hat, Alberta.
I love Medicine Hat. I just love that name. I've never been there. I just love it.
I kind of want to go now.
I kind of want to wear one.
He ended up being ranked last on the roster, thus ending his professional baseball prospects. McFarlane graduated with a bachelor's degree that same year and stayed in Spokane while Wanda finished her degree. He does admit that he would give up everything to play professionally again.
Todd was still hitting up every comic book editor with about 20 packages of his work a month. Todd wore out the editors, and finally DC Comics' Sal Amendola, yes? Amendola?
Yes.
Amendola.
Thank you. Sal Amendola gave McFarlane a dummy script in order to gauge McFarlane's page-to-page storytelling ability. Amendola's advice was that McFarlane's submissions needed to focus page-to-page stories rather than just pin-ups. McFarlane created a 5-page Coyote sample that he initially sent to Uncanny X-Men editor Ann Nocenti at Marvel Comics. She passed it along to Archie Goodwin and Joe Duffy, the editors of the Marvel imprint Epic Comics, which published Coyote. Then, in turn, passed it on to Coyote creator Steve Englehart, who called McFarlane to offer McFarlane his first comic job. Coyote is an American Indian orphan who, when his parents died in an above-ground nuclear test, is taken by a hermit who also happens to be a were-coyote. Why do I feel like this is a weird thing?
It's actually a really cool comic.
Because it is a weird thing.
Do you know what? The Simpsons also mention this as well.
Do they?
Yeah. This is in the Simpsons episode where they pay homage to Coyote.
I've never even heard of this comic.
Yeah,
But what hermit is not a were-coyote? I mean, come on.
I'm just a hermit crab.
They are joined by a witch who then becomes his foster mother. Then one night, after an occult ceremony, the boy becomes a coyote man himself, kills his adoptive parents, and decides to live alone in the desert.
Why did he kill his adoptive parents?
Because he was a were-coyote. He couldn't control himself.
Okay, that seems kind of crappy.
You need that torment, though, to build the character.
I guess.
I mean, it was either the him or them.
Well, no, because he's also a were-coyote. They could have done were-coyote things. They could have gone to were-coyote games.
Then either way, the witch was going to have to go.
Yeah, the witch was going to die. Because his stepmom was such a witch.
Damn it. McFarlane soon began drawing for both DC and Marvel.
At the same time?
Yeah, they do that a lot. With his first major body of work being a 2-year run from 1985 to 1987 on Disney's Infinity Inc. Infinity Inc. was a team of superheroes. Why are you laughing?
Because you said Disney's Infinity, where it was DC. Because Disney Infinity is a video game.
Oh, it is a video game. Did I say Disney?
Yes, you said Disney. And then just imagine him like building the characters. And
that's how long it took for Disney to release that game.
35 years.
DC's Infinity Inc. Infinity Inc. was a team of superheroes that mostly comprised of the children and heirs of the Justice Society of America. McFarlane then illustrated the latter 3 issues of Detective Comics' 4-issue Batman Year 2 storyline. He would make Batman's cape more dynamic and big. He popped the characters out of the storyboards, all of which became very popular, although Todd was just trying to hide his average art skills. From there, he went to Marvel's Incredible Hulk, which he drew from 1987 to 1988, working with writer Peter David.
Todd attributes most of his early success to 2 things. One was simply updating the look of the characters he was drawing to modern times, and then 2, being able to make deadlines. He says, you don't have to be the best artist to make it in the business. You have to be able to meet deadlines. Oh, sorry, make deadlines. Meet deadlines. Make deadlines. Deadlines!
Deadlines!
In 1988, McFarlane joined writer David Michelin on Marvel's The Amazing Spider-Man, starting with the issue 298. The preliminary sketch for the cover appeared on the back of one of his Incredible Hulk pages.
Now, he did get into trouble by updating these characters and making them more modern looking, because they were drawing the same characters for, like, I don't know, 30, 40 years.
Because I think I read that when he made Batman tougher, people didn't like it because he kind of bulked him up and made him a bit more like, yeah, I'm Batman.
Well, if you look
than,
at some of his
Adam West.
Batman, he gave him like the points on the cape and the cowl and make it a little more aggressive.
Yeah, and the cape was like 90 feet long, but it was cool looking.
Well, he's always had a thing for capes. I mean, look at Spawn's cape. There's sometimes you have to do like a 2-page spread for how massive his cape is.
Me too, JL. I also have a thing for capes, and that's why I'm wearing my cape tonight.
Men in capes.
McFarlane got noticed for the more dynamic poses in which he depicted Spider-Man's aerial web swinging.
JL didn't even comment the fact that I'm wearing a cape.
No, he doesn't care
There's
about
I'm
keep
used to
going
you
on.
wearing a cape.
capes, robes, or being naked. You missed the naked week, JL.
No, I didn't miss that week. I enjoy his cape more than him being naked. So, he also enlarged the eyes of the character's mask and added greater detail into the art. One particular detail was the elaborate look he gave to Spider-Man's webbing. It was about the same look that Chris gave after drinking a sip of the beer every time.
This show is supposed to be about Todd McFarlane, not about my adventures into the Woodcock.
Welcome to Chris's
clip-
episode this
can we-
week, Adventures in Beer Drinking.
We need to pull that clip.
Before it was just a series of X's between two lines, McFarlane enhanced it by detailing far more individual strands. The editors dubbed it spaghetti webbing, and they all hated it. Hated it.
Spaghetti Western, now spaghetti webbing.
Yeah. They felt he was changing the Spider-Man brand way too much. They felt the eyes were too big, the costume was too dark, and the webbing was all wrong.
Those darn kids.
I know. Imagine how they'd feel with Rob Liefeld, who likes to just accentuate everything, and then all they have is a tiny head.
Like a woodcock.
Yeah, because at the same time, the public loved it. It sometimes looked like the characters he drew had no bones, and it was exciting to see the eyes of the reader. McFarlane eventually told the editors that he was here to sell comic books and that it was his happening. It was happening. Comic books were selling and selling huge.
Yeah, because he's kept getting pulled into the office. Say, stop that. But meanwhile, Spider-Man is selling more than ever. I don't understand that.
McFarlane was also the first to draw Eddie Brock, the original incarnation of the villain Venom. Yeah. He has been credited as the character's co-creator, though this has been a topic of dispute within the comic book industry. McFarlane's work on Amazing Spider-Man made him an industry superstar. Take, for example, his cover art for Amazing Spider-Man, number 313, for which he was originally paid $700 in 1989, would later sell for $71,200 in 2010. That's a lot of money.
How
for
much
a
is that in
comic book.
Bitcoin?
A lot of money in general.
I think it's 1/16 of a Bitcoin.
Not anymore. The comic industry was at a boom. Comic book companies were selling books with 5 different cover designs, knowing that fans would buy 2 of each, one to put away and one to read. McFarlane felt the industry was taking advantage of the consumer and also was becoming increasingly dissatisfied with the lack of control over his own work. He wanted more say in the direction of his storylines, and he began to miss deadlines, requiring guest artists to fill in for him on some issues.
In 1990, after a 28-issue run of Amazing Spider-Man, McFarlane told then-editor Jim Salkrup, was that right, J.O. Salkrup?
Yeah.
That he wanted to write his own stories and he'd be leaving the book with issue number 328. This was part of that year's company-wide Acts of Vengeance crossover storyline. What's that, JL? Do you know? Acts of Vengeance?
Acts of Vengeance?
Does that sound familiar?
No. I want to see, whenever I see Vengeance, I always think Ghost Rider.
Okay. But I think this is probably something that covered like a bunch of superheroes across multiple comic books, but I don't know. In July 2012, the original artwork to that issue's cover, which features Spider-Man dispatching the Hulk, sold for a record-breaking $657,250.
Holy moly.
The highest auction price ever for any piece of American comic book art. McFarlane was replaced on Amazing Spider-Man by McFarlane's future fellow Image Comics co-creator, Eric Larson. Didn't he do that comic, Far Side?
Eric Larson?
Yeah.
Savage Dragon. was his big one that I remember.
Oh, okay. That was a joke. He didn't do that. That was some other Larson, but I don't remember his name.
Brie Larson.
Brie Larson? No.
Not Brie Larson.
Captain Marvel. She did that.
No, I think it was Gary Larson. I don't know. Somebody's screaming right now because we don't know the name. The guy who did the Far Side comic. His name was Larson, I think. Not wanting to lose McFarlane, Marvel offered him a new Spider-Man title for McFarlane to both write and draw. Spider-Man #1, released in August 1990, sold 2.5 million copies, largely due to the variant covers with which Marvel, seeking to capitalize on McFarlane's popularity, published in order to encourage collectors into buying more than one. McFarlane at this time was making about $1 million a year. McFarlane wrote and illustrated 15 of the series' first 16 issues, and many issues featured other popular Marvel characters such as Wolverine and Ghost Rider in guest roles.
Wow.
So it was Gary Larson.
Was it Gary Larson?
It was Gary
All right.
Larson. There we go.
I loved The Far Side. That was good.
So, despite his acclaim as an artist, fans found McFarlane's writing to be clumsy and unsophisticated, like my pronunciation. They questioned the wisdom of allowing him to write a new Spider-Man title in the first. At the same time, the editors were not happy with the dark tone of the stories McFarlane was telling. Beginning with the inaugural Torment storyline. Do you know that storyline, JL? The Torment storyline?
No.
Nor do I. This story depicted a more vicious version of the reptile villain Lizard, under the control of a voodoo priestess, Calypso, from the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Be like his rum.
No, I remember
Yes,
Calypso.
it will,
She was like
yes,
a
it will.
domino knockoff, the way she looked.
Wasn't Calypso the DC one as well? No, what was she? Who was in the one?
She's the one that had
Suicide
the
Squad.
maracas and the fruit on her head.
Yes.
Yes, her.
Yes. Following the storylines such as masks, featuring Spider-Man confronting the demonic hobgoblin, while Precipitations involve Spider-Man dealing with the police. Yes, I just... Precipitations. Perceptions.
I almost couldn't read it because you said it so wrong.
Precipitations.
Precipitations. That was about the weathermen.
Yes. Involves Spider-Man dealing with the police corruption, child rape, that will stop you laughing, and murder. This led to some of the stores to refusing to stock the comic. It also created further tension between McFarlane and the editors, which viewed Spider-Man as a historically light-hearted character marketed to younger readers. Editor Jill Salcrop was forced to make a number of compromises for McFarlane's work, including uninforming McFarlane's minor costume changes across the entire lineup of the Spidey comics and placing limitations on his choice of villains for his stories. Salcrop also had to deal with other strong disagreements on the handling of the character Mary Jane Watson. Basically, McFarlane took Mary Jane out of the weird 60s jumpers and dull hair into the 90s, making her a lot more sexy.
Woohoo! She's a babe now.
This put strain on the McFarlane relationship with Salcrop, which was expressed in a remarkable account of public disagreement that appeared in the book's letter page.
Oh, the letters page. Things that I miss in comics.
I'm mad!
Or, I love this. Just everything. And then you got your sea monkeys at the same time.
Yes, I love sea monkeys.
Soon, McFarlane's attention to his deadlines began to waver. Yet again. And he missed issue 15 of the title. His final issue of the book was number 16, published in November of 1991, and was part of a crossover storyline with X-Force, and led to creative clashes with new editor Danny Fingeroth. According to McFarlane and editor Tom DeFalco, among the examples of the issues that prompted his departure were editorial censorship of a panel in that issue in which the character Juggernaut was graphically stabbed in the eye with a sword.
Ouch.
Well, you know, he isn't really... He's kind of invulnerable, Juggernaut,
Yeah,
so
it's just
it doesn't really, you know...
It's like, ow, you pricked my eye. I'm fine.
No, I think this actually kills him because I watched the documentary on McFarlane.
I think they were going to, like, kill off...
And I think that's the only way to kill the Juggernaut. I'm not positive.
You got to get rid of, like, his, like, the ruby and everything like that he has, like, that powers him.
Wait. Okay, to kill a... What is it? Juggernaut?
Juggernaut.
Juggernaut. You don't just punch him in the jugular? Oh.
That was a lot of work to get to that joke, and that was not worth it. Say Juggernaut.
Juggernaut.
Say Juggernaut.
Juggernaut.
If you want, Juggernaut kind of looks like the Hulk, but not green and wearing armor.
Yeah.
With a very bad, like, helmet.
What was the game? The Call of Duty used to have the Juggernaut characters on the thing, which were, like, armored, and you could not kill them for...
Yeah, I don't know.
DeFalco supported the editing of the panel, calling it inappropriate, while McFarlane called this lunacy, arguing that such graphic visuals are commonplace in Marvel's books. He finally got fed up with editorial interference and told the company he was leaving. According to David Wallace of Comics Bulletin, quote, McFarlane's 15 issues of Spider-Man are now and perhaps slightly unfairly held up alongside the likes of X-Force as the epitome of everything that was wrong in 1990s comics. And their cash-in approach to the then booming speculator market precipitated the near collapse of the industry.
I just want everybody to know Chris yelled at me for hitting him with my microphone cord. He was just stepping on it, so I couldn't.
You know why I was stepping on it? So that you wouldn't beat me up with it. Because I'm the only one that's laughed at your jokes tonight.
I likely.
And gave you praise. And you treated me by whipping me with a microphone.
That was before any of the praise and laughter.
I already have to choke down this Woodcock.
It seems as if the abuse works in my favor.
Too.
Have you finished your cock?
I almost died on the Woodcock.
He choked it down. Todd dusted up his
You gave such a lighthearted laugh to your own joke. You gotta stick with it. You gotta laugh hard like it's the best joke ever. You can't just.
If you don't believe it's funny, it's not funny.
It's funny.
Those lightsabers red.
Todd dusted off his character of Spawn, brought him into the 90s, and started pushing it himself, pretty much out of his garage with his wife as the editor.
He was actually publishing it.
Publishing it himself.
I mean, he was pushing it.
Pushing it, but publishing.
That's what publishing is. You're pushing your material.
Yes.
But anyway, that was until issue number 5 when creative differences over the Billy Kincaid storyline. Kincaid was a child killer, and the graphics and story were a hard read. So much so that Australia banned the comic book.
Yeah, there was a huge backlash to this. I remember that.
Yeah.
Because Billy Kincaid, if I remember right, he worked on an ice cream truck.
Yes.
And that's how he lured all the children.
Yes.
And all that.
That does seem
And then
creepy.
he killed them, and I think the panel that
They would show him in like garbage bags in like a dumpster or something too.
I'm not sure about that, but I know the panel that drove people over the edge on it was that he finger painted with the kids.
Yeah,
But he cut their fingers off and used those to paint with.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and
But I
then he glued
remember
them to a board.
The fear of, like, the ice cream man that was now real. It was all
It's true.
McFarlane's fault.
It's all true.
Go on.
No, I was
Like
just
the Force.
Yeah,
It's all true.
It's all true.
You know, I grew up in New York, and I remember going to the ice cream shop every time I was at the park. And I can only imagine, like, that must be scary for parents because you really do never know who's in the ice cream truck.
No.
I'm
Anyway.
guessing a guy or a female.
Oh,
Usually
guys.
some guy with no
Always
teeth and a
guys.
lot of tattoos.
Except for Ron Weasley, who owns an ice cream truck. What's the actor who plays Ron Weasley? What's his name?
Ron Weasley?
Yes.
Rupert Grint?
Rupert Grint owns an ice cream truck.
For fun.
Yeah, I know, but
he
except
doesn't-
for him, because he's not creepy.
It's not like, what, are you saying he's researching to play Billy Kincaid in the new
No,
Spawn movie when it comes out?
I'm just saying, like, some creepy guys own ice cream trucks, I'm sure, but
He's
not
a-
Rupert
and yet-
Grint, because he's...
No, not the creepy ginger from Harry Potter.
I was going to say that, but I'm glad you did. So now you can get all the letters.
JL hates gingers.
I do not hate gingers. He's just kind of creepy.
Then why do you have a website called JLHatesGingers.com?
That's not how it goes. It says, I hate ginger. And it's against Ginger from Gilligan's Island.
Oh, okay. That's different. I don't know how you could hate her either.
McFarlane
Stole
then...
away Mary Ann's thunder.
When you're done listening to this, here is something else you can sink your ear holes into.
1994 was a common year, starting on a Saturday of the Gregorian calendar, the 1994th year of the Common Era, the 94th year of the second millennium, the 94th year of the 20th century, and the 5th year of the 1990s decade. The year 1994 was designated as the International Year of the Family and the International Year of Sport and Olympic Ideal by the United Nations. But what is the most important thing about the year 1994?
It's now a podcast. 1994, the podcast, is about all things pop culture dealing with the year 1994. It's hosted by Brooklyn comedians John Bilancini and Brandon Ream and produced by Amy. She's a girl. On the first and third Friday of every month, John, Brandon, and a special guest comedian break down television, movies, snacks, music, and more from each month of the year, 1994. If you enjoy comedy, Wall of Chains, Ace of Base, and or Pulp Fiction and miss the 1990s, you have to check out 1994. 1994 is available on iTunes, Google Play, and Podomatic, and can be found at 1994 Podcast on Twitter and on Facebook.
This is Jack DeVos and Joe Jewett from the Over the Line Show on iHeartRadio.
And you're listening to Podcast 42, winner of the J.D. Power Award for Best Light Pickup Truck 6 years in a row.
McFarlane then teamed with a group of 7 other creators and announced the founding of Image Comics. Jim Lee, known for X-Men, Rob Liefeld. Well, why did you give me this one with all? You always give me the ones with all the names.
We go over this every time. We go over this every time. It's just random.
It's not, but it's not
Just
random if I have to say
Carry on, my wayward son.
Come on, you're at Mark Silvestri.
Mark Silvestri from Wolverine.
Yes.
Eric Larson of The Amazing Spider-Man.
Far Side.
Jim Valentino of Guardians of the Galaxy. And Woolsey?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Willis.
Willis? No, there's not a second I there.
Yeah, it's silent.
It's a silent imaginary I. Willis Portaccio? That's the Italian in me. From Uncanny X-Men and longtime Uncanny X-Men writer Chris Claremont. This development was nicknamed the Exodus because several of the creators involved were famous for their work on the X-Men franchise. Marvel's stock fell $3.25 a share when the news became public.
I actually fell $3.25 a share.
$3.25 is the same thing.
Yeah, she's just being fancy.
Nicole,
Yes,
do you
sir.
know who Rob Liefeld created?
No.
What character?
No.
Deadpool.
Okay.
Have you not seen that?
I saw like half of it.
Doesn't like Deadpool.
It's not that I don't like it. I only saw half of it.
Because you fell asleep.
Because you don't
during
like Deadpool.
No, I was at Keely's and then I got distracted and just didn't finish the movie because she had seen it already. So it didn't matter to her that we didn't finish the movie. And it really didn't matter to me that we didn't finish the
Black
movie.
Panther. How was that?
Yeah, I fell asleep.
You had to pay to see that one.
I know.
She was snoring. She was
I was
behind
I
me.
know.
Snoring.
She was probably looking for her phone or something.
I did lose my phone.
Image's organizing charter had 2 key provisions. 1, Image would not own any creator's work. The creator would. Number 2, no Image partner would interfere creatively or financially with any other partner's work. Image itself would own no intellectual property except the company trademarks, its name, and its logo, which was designed by writer Hank Canals. See, I gave myself a hard name. Each
The
image...
one of all of the ones that I had to say.
Don't worry, he gets to say him again.
No, yeah. Thank God you said them, because I didn't know how to say them. Each Image partner founded his own studio, which published under the Image banner, but was autonomous from any central editor control. Claremont was not part of the partnership, and Portacio withdrew during the formative stages to deal with his sister's illness.
See, it is Italian names.
Well, then you should be able to say them.
I
'cause
said
you're-
one of them before.
You're a Taco Bell. No, you're a pizza
bagel.
I said
Pizza
Portaccio.
the Hut.
See, I
Pizza
said
bagel.
Portaccio.
Pizza
You
bagel?
said Portacio.
You're a pizza bagel.
I am a pizza bagel, so that's why I said Portaccio.
So
Cheeto.
Image originally consisted of 6 studios. I think we already did that, didn't we?
No,
No,
we
we
haven't
didn't.
named them.
Todd McFarlane Productions, owned by Todd McFarlane.
No way.
Get out.
Mm-hmm. True. Wildstorm Productions, owned by Jim Lee.
Which is now part of DC right now.
Is it?
Yeah, because some of those characters are really appearing in there. DC's been using them a lot. Jim Lee's kind of become exclusive to them.
All right. Does Image know that?
And there's other things going on there too.
Highbrow Entertainment, owned by Eric Larson, who also did The Far Side. Shadowline, owned by Jim Valentino. Top Cow Productions, owned by Mark Silvestri. Extreme Studios, owned by Rob Liefeld, who made Deadpool. Spawns was Image's second release following the release of Rob Liefeld's Youngblood the month prior. Upon its release in May of 1992, Spawn #1 sold 1.7 million copies. Still a record for an independent comic book.
And random side note, Spawn's wife and daughter have the same names as Todd's wife and daughter.
Wanda and Cyan.
There we go. That's a weird random side note. Responding to harsh criticism of his abilities as a writer, McFarlane hired acclaimed writers to guest write on issues 8 through 11, including Alan Moore, Neil Gaiman, Dave Sim, and Frank Miller. Other writers would hire on the series included Grant Morrison, Andrew Grossberg, and Tom Oshasharovich. I think he was Polish. Greg Capullo. Greg Capullo penciled several issues as a guest artist, and this became a regular penciler with episode 26, with McFarlane remaining as a writer and inker until episode 70. The series continued to be a hit, and in 1993, Wizard declared Spawn to be, quote, the best-selling comic on a consistent basis that currently being published. Spawn is
Close
notable.
enough.
Yes, I know. That's what happens when you just have a burp of IPA in your mouth and you're trying to talk. Spawn.
You had some woodcock in your mouth?
I did have cock in my mouth. Spawn is notable for being one of only 2 Image books that debuted during the company's 1992 launch, along with Eric Larsen's Savage Dragon. Not Imagine Dragons, Savage Dragon. That's when they put Savage Garden and Imagine Dragons together and made a comic book.
Yes.
And that continues to be published into the late 2010s. Or the 20s. What would you call these years? The teens?
I don't know.
We're in the 2018 and nobody still knows what we are. We're the teens.
We're doomed is what we are.
We're doomed.
During Image's early years, the company was subjected to much industry criticism over aspects of its business practices, including late ship books, and its creators' emphasis of art over writing. It's really true, because all of them were artists and not great writers. One of these critics was McFarlane's former Hulk collaborator, writer Peter David. This came to a head during a public debate they participated in at Philadelphia's Comic Fest convention in October of 1993, which was moderated by a great artist named George Perez. McFarlane stated that Image was not being treated fairly by the media, and by David in particular. The 3
amigos
Judges.
Maggie Thompson, editor of the Comic Buyer's Guide, William Christensen of Wizard Press, and John Danovich of the magazine Hero Illustrated voted 2-1 in favor of David, with Danovich voting the debate a tie. In 1994, McFarlane and DC Comics collaborated on an intercompany crossover, each producing a book featuring Batman and Spawn. The first of the 2 books, DC's Batman Spawn, War Devil, was written by Doug Moench, Chuck Dixon, and Alan Grant, and drawn by Klaus Janson. It was followed by Image's Spawn Batman, which was written by Frank Miller and drawn by McFarlane. This was the year that McFarlane ceased to be the regular writer and artist of Spawn. The first issue was number 16, which was drawn by Greg Capullo. Aside from the 4 fill-in writers on issues 8 through 11, it was the first issue on which McFarlane was not the regular writer. Over the course of the book, he would hire other writers such as Brian Hogan and David Hine, and artists such as, hey, look, he's back, Willis Portacio.
Willie. Let's just call him Willie.
Willie Angel
Portacio.
Medina, and Philip Todd. McFarlane occasionally offered story input and covers. He would occasionally return as the interior artist for intermittent issues, and for a few years wrote it under a pseudonym in order to generate interest in the book by fostering the illusion that new talent was being brought in.
Ooh.
In 2006,
Shady.
McFarlane announced plans for another Spawn Batman with artist Greg Capullo, who McFarlane wrote and inked, and it paid tribute to Jack Kirby. He also began taking an active role in comic publishing again, publishing Spawn in trade paperback. Spawn, the first volume, achieved moderate success, ranking 17 in the top 100 graphic novels. In 2008, McFarlane returned to co-plot the series with returning writer Brian Hogan, weird spelling, with Brian Hogan. With issue, the series sales had dropped drastically, never matching the sales figures of the 1990s. Though it continues publication, its appearance on the Diamond Top 300 charts has been intermittent since the mid-2000s. Nonetheless, Shay Henham
I don't give you these names on purpose. I know what you're thinking. Stop yelling at me with your thoughts.
Shut you, the evil eyes.
Yeah, just looking at you, that tone of voice again. Typical
Did I
woman.
say it correctly or not?
I have no idea.
Nobody knows.
out.
That's why you
I
get
don't know.
them.
I don't read Paste magazine, but hey, you should keep going.
Okay.
Face.
Nonetheless,
It's actually pronounced pasty.
Oh, pasty if you're
Or
England.
paste.
Nonetheless, Shay Henham of Paste magazine has observed the series. Quote, it's a book that, for a time, people continue to buy because of the character instead of the creator. It has become as much of an institution as it is a comic. Hannett, an ongoing
Haunt.
Haunt.
What did you say?
That one might
Hannett.
Hannett.
Wow.
That one
There
was
is
my
no
fault.
butchering that James could do right now that could be any worse than you mispronouncing haunt.
I'm sorry, that one was my fault. Haunt, an ongoing series co-creator by McFarlane and Robert Kirkman of Walking Dead fame, was launched on October 7, 2009. The comic was initially written by Kirkman and inked by McFarlane. McFarlane contributed pencils to some issues and co-wrote issue 28, the series finale, with Joe Casey, who took over writing duties from Kirkman.
Hey, do you know who drew that, most of it?
Todd McFarlane. Didn't
Greg Capullo.
Did he? Okay. I never heard of him.
He did a huge run on Batman recently, and right now he's doing the DC Metal series with Scott Snyder.
Okay. Todd McFarlane Productions published multiple Spawn spin-offs and a miniseries. McFarlane increasingly concentrated his own personal attention to those other ventures, which took him away from work as an illustrator. In 1994, McFarlane created a toy company, Todd's Toys, initially to merchandise collectible action figures of Spawn. In 3 months, the company sold more than 2.2 million of the action figures. That's crazy.
Yes, I had a ton of them.
Did you?
Yes, and the first run of action figures, they didn't bend, so they were stuck in the same position. Like the
I
arms
remember those, yeah.
Yeah, where the second run, they actually had like the joints and everything, so you could move their arms.
Fans fell in love with the toys due to the incredible detail that was put into them. They are basically affordable statues. Todd essentially made toys that he would want to have himself. After Mattel sent a cease and desist order on the basis of a male doll in Mattel's Barbie line named Todd, McFarlane changed the company name to McFarlane Toys. Doesn't seem like he should be able to do that.
It was the 90s. A lot of things could happen.
Yep.
But I think McFarlane Toys
Anything
is
could
better.
happen now. I don't know what you're talking about. There's no chain of command. There are no rules anymore.
Suddenly, we've gone dark.
The world is going to end. Tonight is going to stop us.
Tina Turner, can you comment down over there? We are not in Thunderdome just yet.
What everyone,
Not Tina Turner!
what everyone missed
Tina
was
Turner was the one.
the lights turned off in the studio except for a spotlight that hit Nicole.
No, it's Tina Belcher.
No.
Tina
no.
Belcher is the dark one, and I'm Tina.
Yes, but Tina Turner was the one in Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome.
Welcome to the Thunderdome.
Who rules Bata Town?
Although I would think I would like to see Tina Belcher in the Tina Turner role.
Tina Belcher.
You know,
as
it would
Tina-
probably be really good. Can we get Gene and somebody else to do Master Blaster?
Yeah, who's going to be Mad Max?
Bob.
Guys, we got to stop this. Guys, kids, guys, stop it.
So basically, Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
All right.
The company's line of figures quickly expanded to those of popular culture icons, such as members of the band Kiss.
I may have had all of those.
That doesn't surprise me. Characters from the film franchise Texas Chainsaw Massacre, TV series such as The X-Files, and sports figures such as Terrell Owens. By 1990, the company sold over 6 million action figures. In 1996, McFarlane founded Todd McFarlane Entertainment, a film and animation studio, in collaboration with New Line Cinema. It produced the 1997 Spawn film and a new Spawn movie planned in 2008. Spawn, while critically panned, was a modest box office success, earning $54.8 million domestically and almost $33 million worldwide against a $40 million budget. That's
James, have you ever seen it?
I have never seen Spawn, and I just was mad at myself because I didn't realize there was a movie. And I was
It's
like,
not the greatest.
It's okay.
It's okay. I remember having to go see it when it came out, like
Yeah.
opening day. Like a whole group of us and all that, all my friends growing up, we had to go and see it. On your crumpet scale, what is it? Up to 12? I would give it a 7.
All right.
Oh.
I'm sure it's out there.
It's just an enjoyable movie that
Just
followed
above 50%.
some of the comic pretty well.
Okay.
John Leguizamo steals the movie.
He steals every movie.
Yeah, he does.
Todd McFarlane Entertainment also produced the animated series Todd McFarlane Spawn, which aired on HBO from 1997 until 1999. Ed Bark of the Dallas Morning News called the series a, quote, a very unpleasant viewing experience, and asked, why would anyone want to subject themselves to such a relentlessly grim, gruesome, dehumanizing experience? Did Ed Bark never watch an HBO show ever? Because that's
That's
that could be any of them.
every HBO show there is.
The animated series went on to win a 1998 Primetime Emmy Oscar. Take that, Ed Bark.
Ruff.
For outstanding achievement in animation.
It was a great series. Did anybody watch the animated?
No. I didn't even know it existed.
Oh, it's awesome. It had I can't think of it. It had a great voice actor as Spawn too, and I can't think of his name right now.
Pee Wee Herman.
John C. Reilly.
No, real deep voice. That's why I'm.
Oh, the guy who played Batman.
No,
Rick Moranis.
no, it's gonna bother me. I can't remember.
Well, you Google, I'll carry on. The studio also produced a number of music videos and other animations, including the 1998 Do the Evolution by Pearl Jam. Rolling Stones included this video in his 2012 list of the greatest animated music videos, which I've never seen.
I found it. It's Keith David.
Keith David.
From They Live.
In 1999, Freaks on a Leash, Korn was a video debuted at number 8 on MTV's Total Request Live on February 9th, 1999, and peaked at number 1. The video won a Grammy for Best Short Form of Music Video, and in 1999, Metal Edge Reader's Choice Award for the Music Video of the Year. It was also nominated for a 1999 MTV Video Music Award. Whew. In 2002, The Dangerous Lives of the Older Boy, which is just a hilarious name for anything. McFarlane produced the animated sequences in this film by Peter Kay, and in which the main characters, Tim and Francis, imagine themselves as muscle-bound warriors. That's how I imagined every day of my life. In 2006, Land of the Confession by Disturbed.
Confusion.
Oh, sorry.
Come on, you should know that. It's a Genesis cover.
It is. By Disturbed. McFarlane, who worked on with Greg Capullo on the art for the 2005 album 10,000 Fists, although also created an animated video for the band's cover of the Genesis 1980 single Land of Confusion. On July 21st, 2011, at the San Diego Comic-Con International Convention of Fun, McFarlane and Stan Lee debuted their new comic Blood Red Dragon. The series is a collaboration with the musician Yoshiki. And stars a fictionalized version of him. Who is Yoshiki?
I don't know, but Land of Confusion is now stuck in my head.
I'm going to be listening to that on the way home. McFarlane and former Boston Red Sox pitcher, Curt Schilling, formed the gaming studio, 38 Studios, in order to produce role-playing games. In February 2012, the company released its only title, Kingdoms of Amalur: Reckoning, a single-player action role-playing game that enjoyed great success, but by late May 2012, the company had ceased operation due to financial difficulties and then filed for bankruptcy. McFarlane was one of several artists to illustrate a variant cover for Kirkman's The Walking Dead No. 100, which was released July 11, 2012, at the San Diego Comic-Con. In July 2017, Blumhouse Productions said McFarlane would direct a reboot of the 1997 film Spawn. McFarlane by then had written a first draft script.
McFarlane continues to be an avid baseball fan. In 1998, he paid $2.6 million at auction for the baseball that St. Louis Cardinals first baseman Mark McGwire hit for his then record-breaking 70th home run, and then $175,000 for Sammy Sosa.
I thought we were about to say $175 million.
I almost said $175 million.
$1 million.
He paid $175,000 for Sammy Sosa's 66 home run ball. In June 2003, McFarlane paid about $517,500 at auction for San Francisco Giants left fielder Barry Bonds' October 2001 record-breaking 73rd home run ball.
I thought he was going to own Barry Bonds right there. I thought he just bought him before he finished Barry Bonds. Barry Bonds now lives at his house. Kicked your balls.
He took the
Hey, Barry, can you grab the milk? By the way, I own you.
He took the baseballs on tour and donated the money to Lou Gehrig's disease charity. He wiggled some batting practice in every ballpark he visited. McFarlane is a former minority owner of the Edmonton Oilers and designed the logo used on the team's alternate third jersey, which debuted in 2001.
And that is most of the life of Todd McFarlane. We're going to stop there for time.
Yes.
Well, you're missing a couple lawsuits. You want to talk about them like super briefly?
Tony Twist, the hockey player, sued Todd McFarlane because there was a character in the comic named Tony Twist who was a mob boss, and he pretty much sued him for defamation of character because he kind of looked like Tony Twist in a way, but a shorter version of him, which Tony Twist won, and the character has not been seen since, really. Neil Gaiman did the same thing, and all that, sued McFarlane over characters he created. Gaiman won. Those characters are now being used in other production, like other companies, like Angela, who's being used in Marvel right now.
I mean, not cool being sued.
No.
Cool.
He's had quite a few lawsuits against him that,
He's a weird cat.
Everybody who makes it big has a lawsuit against them, I feel
but
like.
his are odd in a way. Like, it's just like bad contracts and bad negotiations, it seems like at times.
It just feels, from this, he became more of a douche the older he got.
Do you think?
Correct me if I'm
he
wrong.
seems to be mellowing out right now. Like,
Already he's gone.
Like, he surprised... He was at MegaCon last year and surprised everybody at a panel that I wish I could have gone to.
He seemed like in the documentary, he interacted with the fans pretty well.
He's very much about the fans.
I am personally going to sue JL for this Woodcock.
JL's Woodcock.
It is not my
Me
fault
too.
that the Woodcock
Hashtag
did not
me
go
too.
down well.
So let's talk about the Woodcock.
I loved it.
Did you love it?
Yeah.
I liked it a lot.
I liked it.
You're always the odd one out, Chris.
Chris, your love of IPAs has grown.
It has grown.
But I feel like
It came and it grew.
Yes.
it grew in the
The
game.
Woodcock
And it went away just as
come
quick.
and grow.
Comes and grows.
I would just like to apologize to
Hi,
Nicole
Nicole's mom.
about my growing woodcock in front of
It's
her.
not all right for Nicole to say hi, Nicole's mom.
It is.
So, this is a good one, but I know we've done two back-to-back, Chris. So, I don't know which one you preferred, last week's or this week's.
Actually, I think, believe it or not, I preferred this week's.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that aftertaste is what gets me.
This is a really good one. And it's only a 6.5 ABV. So, and
when I drink a drink, I like it to be done. I don't like to keep tasting it for like 15 minutes after I drink it.
See, if I would have known we had an IPA last week, I wouldn't have brought this one.
No, this is good.
I mean, Chris, to what you said, that's what most girls think after they drink Woodcock.
Oh, God. Hi, Nicole's mom.
so ratings of the cock of wood.
I'm going to go 3.
Okay.
Whoa, that is
Yeah.
higher than I thought. I had you at 2 max.
No, I'm going to go 3. Like we've been saying, my taste buds have grown.
Nicole?
But it's still a hard wooden journey down a long
I will actually give this
tedious
a 6. I enjoyed this one a lot.
road.
She always enjoys a good woodcock.
Yes. I don't want to, but I'm going to give it a 6. I want to give it a 5 because my one was good last week. But 6. The Woodcock is good. The Woodcock is good.
It's also a nice selling point that it's a larger than normal can.
It's a pint.
It's a pint. It's 16 ounce.
Well, but most beer cans are not that tall.
Right. Which I get it comes in a 4-pack the way that I brought it because it's a
that
larger
could be
can.
it. Yeah.
But I have to say, it came highly recommended and it truly delivered. I'm going to have to agree
That's what she
with
said.
a 6.
Yeah.
It was highly recommended.
Well done on your good Woodcock.
So many jokes about this beer. I wonder if that's why they made sure it was a very good beer.
Yes, that's exactly why.
That's
they had a
exactly why.
meeting.
Yes, we're going to sit down. This beer is delicious. This is a funny name to talk about.
If we're going to name it Woodcock, it has to be a good beer.
I'm going to make a bad beer, and I'm going to call it Inverted Nipple.
Though I would probably buy that too.
I don't know. That's why I'm making
Yeah,
it.
didn't you drink a beer called Bear
Yellow
Fist?
Snow.
Oh, the Yellow Snow.
Ew!
I thought it was a funny play on words because the can had a dog like peed in the snow and it said yellow snow.
And then you were like,
It was
this
from
tastes tastes like
Brewery.
childhood.
And then I took one sip and I said, "Oh, this really does taste like yellow snow."
See, Chris listened and appreciated my joke.
Do you know the look you get
JL,
when you're
stop
out
eating the
somewhere?
snow.
And you just go, "I give it a 1. I give it a 1," and you just go, "No more."
Oh boy, what a week. We have some emails.
We do?
Yes, if you want to email us, you can email us at podcast42show@gmail.com. You can also find us on Facebook if you want to just send us a question. It's a very active Facebook group. What is it? The official Podcast 42 Show Facebook group?
Yes.
Yes.
Show.
The Epistle Podcast
I still
42
find
Facebook group.
Just keep adding words. No wonder they can't find
I'm
us.
going to try that. Deborah sent us an email saying, anyone a fan of rap music, particularly 90s rap?
Oh,
well,
well, yeah, obviously. How do you not like Biggie
Or Beastie Boys.
or Vanilla Ice?
Was Beastie Boys 90s?
Were they?
Yeah.
Does
Come on,
that-
they like Beastie Boys. I'd
like-
say they quit actively putting stuff out probably 1999.
When the one guy died?
Well, that
Well-
was like a couple of years ago. So
Yeah, but they didn't really put out an album in between there. They just kind of toured.
I
Yeah.
prefer 80s rap. Run DMC.
Young
I
MC.
was putting Beastie Boys in 80s, but they're probably 90s too.
But then I would say
Public
they're both.
Enemy.
Like they were definitely big in both. I do
Does
like
Eminem?
Eminem's definitely 90s. He's a late 90s
the
guy.
late 90s. Because I like the Eminem. And Dre. I enjoyed that.
Biggie,
And
Tupac. Which one did you prefer?
Probably Dre. But I think 2000 was was that the album? What was that one? It was 99. What was it?
The Chronic?
No, it was 2000, was it? The
Dre
album.
2000?
Yeah, was that? I don't know what year. I'm guessing it came out in 2000. So I'm guessing that's not a 90s rap. But yeah, that one.
I have comments about this. First of all,
You weren't allowed to listen to rap music?
I was not allowed to listen to rap music. So
She
would,
still isn't.
So would any of you consider Aaron Carter rap music?
No!
Good, because my dad did. So my dad, who doesn't listen to this podcast, should listen to this and collectively hear that Aaron Carter is not rap
all
music.
honesty, nobody should ever listen to Aaron Carter.
It's fair, but like he was big
still
for
does.
my time.
I believe that.
And I was not like my dad changed the radio station when his song came on because he did not.
Because
like,
your dad is smart and
Yes.
said nobody should be subjected to Aaron
Well done,
Carter.
Nicole.
it
Nicole's
wasn't.
dad.
It wasn't that.
He's the dad. He's supposed to protect you.
And also, would you consider the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air theme song 90s rap?
Well, Will Smith did rap, but really cheesy pop rap.
Yeah, he did cheesy.
So,
Okay.
With Jazzy Jeff.
But
so,
all I
like,
know is the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
How do you not know Miami?
Our parents don't
Because I
understand.
wasn't allowed to listen to rap.
It's Will Smith. It's wholesome.
We'll go over it later.
Wild Wild West.
Okay, Lewis also said, it's my girlfriend's 30th birthday coming up. I want to do something special. Any suggestions?
Lewis, I think you should celebrate her birthday.
That's
Yes.
That's what he's asking, but he wants ideas.
Okay, does she have a favorite movie? If she
Chuck E.
does,
Cheese.
try
He
and
can't answer.
Come on, Lewis, answer us back. Why
It's
you
a
know right now?
rhetorical question.
okay.
If she does have a favorite movie, which most people do, try and recreate something from that movie, especially if it's a romantic movie. She'll appreciate that.
Lewis, it's
What
her
if her
30th
favorite movie is
birthday.
Apocalypse Now?
Then,
All the
then build her a bunker. It's a babe. I built this for you to save you from the apocalypse.
What if it's Saw and she wants him to put a key behind her eye?
Then
Lewis, don't do that. That's murder nowadays. Lewis, don't do it.
Lewis, just take her to Chuck E. Cheese. They got arcade games, and guess what? They serve alcohol there now.
You have to
You're
bring
good to go.
kids, in which case grab Tina, Jean, and Louise, and they'll just crash all the birthday parties, and you can play the video games.
Take Nicole with you. She's not allowed to listen to rap. Just make sure she's home at a decent hour.
I think, Lewis, my friend, you should go deep and sentimental.
Go deep.
Yeah.
Oh, he's planning on it. It's her 30th birthday.
I mean, you know, girls get really dirty when they turn 30, right?
Dirty, 30, and thriving.
Do they?
No. I'm going to suggest cake.
They go to bed earlier.
Cake by the ocean?
I mean, that's a good one. Yes, cake by the ocean.
To listen to the band Cake by the Ocean?
Yes.
Hey, then at least we know he's going the distance.
Ha.
Just don't go for speed.
Guys, I thought we weren't going to be punny today.
You started this.
I
We're
did.
not. I'm actually just using lyrics.
I did.
I have no idea. I'm always bad at birthdays. I panic at the last minute.
Yeah,
to get
Amazon
something.
Prime is always good, Lewis. Just ask her loads of shit she wants and just go for it.
That's very special.
Yeah. Don't be special. Everyone forgets what they got for their birthday.
I just had my wife buy her
What did
own
you get for your
presents.
last birthday present, Nicole?
Something Bob's Burgers from you, I'm sure.
There you go. She can't even remember. What did you get for your last birthday present, Chris?
Oh, I got the Bob's Burgers CD. Or was that Christmas
I don't remember.
2 years ago?
See, JL, what did you get for your birthday last?
Beer.
I got no idea.
All right, well, there you go. There's something special.
Yep.
You tried on my lip plumping chapstick. That was funny on your birthday. And then we did a tour of Spaceship Earth.
What did I really get for my birthday last year? I got a tour of Wrigley Field.
There you go. Oh, good save.
Oh, something
Good
special.
save.
That was something.
Girlfriend was outside the
wifey
door
to be
quizzing
said,
him.
"You got something good."
Hold on. But you know what we really did on my birthday?
What?
We did the tour of Wrigley Field. And then we had to go see Hamilton because that's what I got her for her birthday. And the past 2 years, I have spent seeing Hamilton on my birthday for her present.
So
But her
Lewis,
birthday is only like 3 days different
Lewis,
from yours.
You know what? Just take her to go see Hamilton. It'll make her feel
You
good.
know what? Take her to see Hamilton when they perform it on Wrigley Field.
Or if you're in New York, you could go see In and of Itself, because I heard that's a very life-changing experience.
or forget her birthday and spend the money on yourself.
There
That's
you go.
a terrible idea.
I
That will get
actually
her to
like
break
that
up with
idea.
you. Don't do that.
No, that's probably
Take it
a
from
bad
the only
idea.
girl. Don't do that.
Unless you wanted to dump her. You can dump her on her birthday. That'd be special.
It'll be memorable. You can't forget that one.
On her 30th, my 30th birthday was the worst. That's what she will always say. You
Why,
want her
Nicole?
to
What
say
happened
that?
on your 30th birthday?
Yeah.
I'm not 30. Thank you very much.
Why are you talking about what happened on your 30th
I was
birthday?
talking in the voice of the person whose birthday it is.
Happy
You have
birthday.
to have
Don't,
memories
if you
of
care
your
about
30th
her
birthday.
even a little bit, you don't want to break up with her on her birthday.
Do it the day before her
Yeah.
birthday.
Or, no, the
You don't-
day
it'll
after
save you on a
her
present.
birthday.
That's still going to be the same.
Yeah.
No, it won't, because before the birthday, then she'll spend her birthday miserable. At least let her spend her birthday happy, and then after you could
Oh,
dump
you
her.
know what?
'Cause
Yeah,
she's gonna
do
be
it
like,
after the birthday. You get birthday
It was
sex
the
out
best
of the deal.
There you
30th
go,
birthday,
see?
and then I got dumped the day after. That will always
No,
be the story.
no, she won't remember it like that.
It won't remember what time it is. Just be like, it was the best 30th birthday. 6 months later, I got dumped. That
Yeah.
will always be the story.
I don't remember anything about my 30th birthday. Do you, Chris?
I turned 30.
Yeah. JL?
No, I don't remember.
I had cake.
By the ocean?
Cake by the ocean?
I definitely didn't. Did I have cake on my 30th birthday? I was in the United States of America. I know that much.
I haven't hit 30 yet, proudly.
Yeah, sure. That's
Jeez.
what you were just talking about.
And neither have I.
Yeah, okay.
All right, well, where can you find us?
Everywhere.
You can find us on Apple's iTunes podcast service. You can find us on Spreaker.
Listen to us on Spreaker.
You can also find us on the iHeart Network.
Listen to us on iHeart.
Stitcher, TuneIn,
Podcast stuff.
All the stuff.
Podcast
So wherever
Garden.
you listen to us, if you can give a review, please give a good review.
Even if you don't like us, we'd appreciate a good review. Just lie.
It helps,
Because you
Nicole.
see that we lie so much on the show. Just lie and say you like us.
But
We'd
we are
appreciate
number
the
one
lie.
on the Google search still.
Yay!
Yeah, that's
Oh,
so
how many followers? How many people in our group? James, you avidly follow.
I'm really impressed with the amount the group has
Have we hit
grown.
1,000 yet?
No.
I mean,
No.
We're still trying to hit 1,000. We are
We're
very
not close.
We're
We are at
close.
906 members.
We've been
Okay.
at 906 for like a day and a half.
Wow.
And you're
Yeah, we're
disappointed
really
in that?
stalling right
I
now.
am, because we were at a steady pace of like averaging like at least 1 to 2 a day, and like
Yeah.
We've had 8 ads in the last week, which is, considering the week started on Sunday, that's not bad.
Hey guys,
So-
hey guys, I'm sorry to interrupt, but
But?
I know you always make fun of me. Guess what I did yesterday for the first time?
Took a poop.
If I am 26 and a half and taking my first poop in my life, there would be articles about me. But that is
I'm
not what I
not going to say
did.
anything only
I
because
know
your
what
mother
you
listens.
What did I do?
You watch Star Wars.
I watched Star Wars.
And on that note,
A
thanks for
New
setting
Hope.
this up. I'm going to play the parts of Nicole. And JL, you can play the part of, Faraz.
Oh my god, there's dialogue to this.
Well, explain what you're doing.
We are going to read a text message Faraz sent me this morning about Nicole watching Star Wars.
I'm gonna kill him.
Uh-huh. I thought Luke's lightsaber was green, but that's blue.
No.
Anakin's is blue.
Anakin's red, see? That's what Darth Vader is using, red. Luke gets Obi-Wan's lightsaber. Obi-Wan has a blue lightsaber.
No, I never said this. He's so full of shit.
No.
He's so full of
Obi-Wan
shit.
gave Luke Anakin's blue lightsaber. He literally explained it.
I don't remember that.
You know, Maybe you keep missing important details because you never stop talking during movies.
This conversation never happened. Oh my god, I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna kill him.
Oh, fan fiction theater.
I've been waiting to do that all day.
So what did you think of the movie?
I enjoyed it.
Wow,
awesome.
Was it realistic
High
enough
five
for you?
you.
It wasn't realistic.
It is.
But I watched the version with the CGI Jabba the Hutt and apparently not the Jim Henson puppet Jabba the Hutt.
That's Return of the Jedi.
No, that was added. That was
And
added
Jabba the
later.
Hutt was added in, yeah. The
That whole scene was added in later, so don't worry
it
about
was
that.
added in later.
Because
When
I
he
was like,
stepped in
wow,
his
this
tail.
is really good graphics for the 70s. And then he was like, this is not what it was. And
So
I was
the
like,
original, the original scene was just the fat guy that Harrison Ford walked around, and then they just cut the whole scene because
It was John Candy in a suit.
If you ever see that Han Solo walk around, it was like the hardest thing to edit at the time
Yeah.
because he kind of looks like he really jumps.
Yeah,
So
okay.
yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Crumpets. Nicole's
I'm
crumpet.
not going to give Star Wars crumpets. Because,
No, you have to.
No, because you guys are going to
Crumpets.
give it 12 crumpets every time, and I might not give that. And
No,
I
it's fine.
Not
Because it was your,
necessarily.
It's fine.
Not
It's
every
fine.
Star
Don't
Wars
worry.
movie
We will
was
judge
great.
you accordingly.
I would give it 9. Because
You're wrong!
it's not my cup of tea, but it was a good storyline for what
it
it
should
was.
be your cup of blue milk.
And
I think that was pretty good rating for someone who's not a big
I
Star Wars
started
fan.
Empire Strikes Back today. What did I get up to?
And how did you stop watching it? It's the best.
Because I started falling back asleep. I woke up at like 7 this morning, and we started watching it, and then I was like, I'm falling back asleep because I woke up at 7 in the morning, and that's unusual for me.
Must be nice.
I know. But I saw him cut open that thing's stomach and put Luke
Tauntaun?
Skywalker in it to keep it warm.
So you literally watched the first 5 minutes.
No. I watched plenty, and then what happened? Han Solo took Leia in the Millennium Falcon as they were running away from Han. And then
Wait, stop, because I got a great idea for a show.
Nicole,
We have Nicole watch a movie and then explain it. A movie she's not interested in, and then explain it.
the list could go on. Hey, Nicole, do you know what the internal temperature of a tauntaun is?
No.
Lukewarm.
No, I saw Hans and Leia burst off in the Millennium Falcon.
Burst off.
He took her in the Millennium Falcon.
And then-
he burst off.
And Kylo Ren was born 9 months later.
And then Luke also left Hoth with R2-D2, and that was where we paused it. They just got into space after leaving
Where
Hoth.
were they going?
I don't know.
They were going to the Dagobah system.
Why are you... Oh, because he's going to train with Yoda, who trained Obi-Wan Kenobi to be
All
a
right.
Master Jedi.
I'm cutting you all off because this will be another show, and we're way over time.
Okay.
watches Star Wars.
Okay.
So,
Are you happy?
Such a good
Are
episode.
you happy?
Yes.
All of you.
No,
I
this is-
finally watched...
this is actually maybe the week I'm gone. You should have her watch Return of the Jedi and do a report.
Oh, but that's your favorite.
Oh, that's not my favorite.
your-
Empire Strikes Back.
Empire Strikes
That's the
Back
one
is
I'm
like-
watching.
I know.
Isn't
Well, you
Empire
already
your
described
favorite
it.
also?
Yeah, I don't know.
I know at the end of
That's
this
a big
one,
question.
Darth Vader tells Luke that that's his
Spoiler!
father. Yes.
Some people haven't seen it.
Lies.
All right, who are you?
I'm Nicole Fasone, the one that everybody makes fun of. I'm James Duncan.
I'm Christopher DeVos.
I'm JL Charles.
You're Todd McFarlane.
Bye.
Bye.
You are no longer listening to Podcast 42.
Some of the stuff you just heard might have been embellished, made up, or just plain incorrect. In other words, don't use this show to write a book report with. You will get a bad grade. Just like all the hosts.
But I'm not done yet.
JL's Beer Cooler is written and performed by Cremo. Cremo is an award-winning actor and musician. For all things Cremo, including more great music, visit Cremo.com. That's spelled Craymo. He is on Twitter at Cremo. Facebook, just search Cremo Music, and also on YouTube under, you guessed it, Cremo.